Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Sorry for a little bit of a late start this afternoon. We just had a little technical glitch. We got it all worked out. We're excited that you're here. Welcome to today's webinar. I am just excited to be able to have Mike Koch with us today to share with you some really cool things that we can do to elevate our client experiences. You know, there's a lot going on with COVID-19, and everybody's trying to stay safe and be in an environment where they're able to do real estate transactions. And I got to tell you that as a coaching company, we have spent a tremendous amount of resources right now just paying attention not only to what's going on in the marketplace, but helping our coaching clients and our families stay safe and continue to do real estate. I'm going to encourage all of you to make sure you stay to the very end of the presentation today. I'm going to have some free guidelines for you, some free giveaways, a brand new top 50 tracker. We're going to give you the ability to download our ebook, 8651, and also sign up for a free COVID-19 strategy session, which is our salespeople. We've kind of gone into a mode where we believe that now's not the time to be selling. It's interesting, Mike, and you'll probably realize this, that some people are pulling back from the marketplace and they're kind of hiding and not knowing what to do. Others are really leaning into their business. And so what we're doing on these COVID-19 strategy sessions is we're doing an analysis of where your business is, and then we're giving you things that you can focus on for the next 30 days. And if you're interested in doing that, we're happy to do that for you. There's no cost or obligation. Our consult team is just there to help, and we're sincere about that. We really do want to make a difference, and if we can help you, we're willing to do that, and we're willing to do it right away. If I could get everybody to go into your chat box right now, just go into your chat box and just say, hello. I want to know who's here and see that you're there. So go in and just say hi to everybody. I want to make sure that you have the ability to ask questions. Oh, wow, it looks like we have an amazing group of people. Hi from all over the country. Hi to Julie and Gary and Dawn and Sylvia. It looks like we have a lot of people on the call today, Mike. As we talk about your new MVP program, I'm excited to share with everybody what's available. So let me just take a second and introduce you all to our guest. As you're saying hello, Cindy says hi, and Deborah and Gary and Eileen. You're seeing all the hellos, Mike. You got a lot of raving fans out there, brother. Everybody, this
Absolutely.
is Mike.
We got people from all over the country and Canada too. I see several from Canada chiming in.
I know. I love that. Mike is the owner of Terra Firma Real Estate in DeForest, Wisconsin. Mike is a team leader. He runs his office as a team. He has a very, very good team and a great culture. Mike's a former Marine. He runs, you think he'd be a tough guy, but he's one of the kindest person I've ever met. He loves having structure in his life and in his business, and also in his haircut. I asked him the other day if he's able to maintain that good-looking haircut when you can't get into the barber, and he's got the trimmer all worked out. Mike is also one of the coaches, one of our senior coaches at Workman Success Systems, which means that not only does he practice what he preaches, but he's a giver and likes to share with others how to be more successful in their own business. So, Mike, thank you for joining me on the call today. I really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here, Burl. And I think when you talked about, serving our community and it's not about the sales, it's about serving, I think this is a great topic to jump into. So thanks for having me here today.
Well, I appreciate it. One of the things I've learned as a coach and having Workman Success Systems is that our people take the concepts that we come up with or that we come up with as a crowd and just make them better. And that's been the truth in pretty much everything we've created. And a couple of coach trainings ago, Mike shared with all of our coaches a program that he had created around our top 50 in Sphere, and he called it his MVP program. And I asked Mike to get on a call with us today and just to share with everybody, first of all, what the thought process is behind it. Why are you coming up with this? And then how it's working. So, Mike, first of all, how are you guys surviving? Tell me what's going on with your business during this COVID-19 crisis. I'd like to hear, how you're adapting.
Well, we've been on a little bit of a roller coaster here for the last 4 weeks probably. March 25th, our governor issued an order that we'd be safer at home. And real estate people in our state are deemed essential workers, so we can still practice. But the way that we're practicing has changed dramatically, and it's amazing how fast it changed. I mean, it's almost changing daily with virtual tours, new procedures and protocol for showings for our agents, for our office. Pretty much all of our agents are working from home right now. We have one support person who's working in the office just to keep transactions moving along. But it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. The end of March, things really started slowing down. The buyers and sellers that we were talking to were really concerned about what was happening in the world and the uncertainty of what lied ahead. But then it almost seemed like it was a transition week. There was a lot of fear, but I think a lot of it was tied to not only the uncertainty of COVID-19, but also people were having to adjust their lives. Their schedules had been disrupted. Kids were now at home. Parents were having to homeschool. Some people lost their jobs. Now you had spouses that had to both work from home, and it just created a really difficult situation. So I think it was a transition week because over the last week, we've seen business picking back up. Our agents are getting out there on showings. We're pending contracts. We're taking new listings. The number of sales that happened in the last 7 days in our MLS is actually up 65% when compared to the first week of March, and the first week of March was our peak year to date. So homes are still being listed. People still need to sell. Sometimes people question whether what we're doing or not is essential, but I'll tell you, I just listed a house for a client who bought it in November. And the company had moved them into the area. They bought a house in November. The company has since let him go. He doesn't have any friends, any family in the area. Now he's unemployed, and he needs to sell his house, and he's going to move back home to be near his family in New Mexico. So when I think of an essential worker, this is where we come into play. There's still people who genuinely need us to help them with their real estate needs.
Mike, I was thinking about that, and I think that real estate happens as a result of life events, and that the coronavirus hasn't stopped life events from happening. If anything, it's created some urgency in new life events that are happening for people. And I absolutely agree with you that our job is not to tell people whether or not they should buy or sell. Our job is to create a safe environment so that when that life event happens, that they know that they've got a real estate agent and a professional that will handle that transaction and the entire process and keep their family and the potential buyers and sellers safe in the process. So it's not that we can't do it. We just have to keep people safe in the process, and we have to be there because their life events are going to keep happening, aren't they?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So let's talk for just a minute about your top 50 program and the MVP program. There's some, and before I go on to that, Mike, some people are in non-essential areas where they're not considered essential. And in those non-essential areas, and I've got people in Michigan and other markets that are non-essential, they're still closing real estate as well. They're just doing it differently.
Yeah, every time there's an obstacle that's thrown at us, one of the things I learned in the Marines is that you adapt and overcome. And there's going to be situations and you try to prepare. Nobody could really prepare for COVID-19 and what was going to happen. But I was on a call this morning with a friend from New York, and they're in lockdown. He can't do anything. He can't leave his house. They're actually the National Guard is handing out food now. And he listed a home about a week and a half ago, 10 days ago, and the seller had a real need to sell, and so he did everything virtually. He had the seller take photos of the house for him, had the seller get the room measurements and help with the profile sheet. He started marketing it, hit the MLS, and he had a buyer who called him up and wanted to see the house. He qualified the buyer, did a virtual tour with the buyer, got a pre-approval letter, and I actually coached up the seller so that the buyer could go to the seller's house, and the seller toured the home, and they now have an accepted offer, and the agent never left his house. So there's still ways that we can adapt and overcome. We just have to find a way to make it work.
I love that. I'm going to totally steal that. Adapt and overcome. I love that. That's what we do, and that's I was just on a call just prior to this call with a client out of Washington, D.C., who sells luxury real estate in the $1 million+ range, and she's still listing properties. She still has listings coming up, and they're doing everything virtually. It's just changed. So business changes, and we have the ability to change. But one thing that doesn't change is people do business with people they like and people they trust. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, and there's nobody that's more fun to do business with than those people.
So talk to me about the concept that you guys got into when you started doing this MVP program. What made you think about it?
Well, Workman Success had introduced me to the top 50. I've been a coaching client for Workman, with Workman for over 4 years, and been a coach with Workman for a little over 3 years now. And Verl, you're actually the one who introduced me to the top 50 program. And it's an amazing program, but quite frankly, as a team leader who's pulled in a lot of different directions, I just wasn't executing on it as well as I needed to be. When I'm out and about, I'm extremely social. I love people. I love going out, having conversations, meeting new people, and those were the ones that I was really engaging with at a high level, but I wasn't going outside of that to engage with them like I was supposed to. And so I needed to find a way to create an opportunity where I could get belly to belly and have more dialogue with the people that were in my sphere of influence, and then even my past clients. So I wanted to try to find a way to systematize the engagement so that I could spend more time one-on-one with those people that were in the top 50, and it's really evolved. It's not even a top 50 program for us anymore. It's more of an MVP program, and it includes our top 50 sphere of influence and past clients. So I just wanted to find a way to take it to another level while leveraging some of my support team members as well.
Love that.
So just diving into the program a little bit here, Verl, and I'll just kind of run with it from here. But, earning points and rewards for repeat business is not a new concept. I mean, you have airline companies, gas companies, credit card companies that are giving points back for different things. And we wanted to apply the same model to real estate and rewarding our friends, our family, our sphere of influence, and past clients for the business that they send to us. I mean, I've been in real estate this is my 20th year. And all along, I've had people who have referred business to me because we took good care of them, and they'd send business to us. So we wanted to come up with a way to give back to that community that had trusted us. And so we created the MVP Club, and the MVP stands for Most Valuable Partners. We look at these members of our club as partners in our business, and we want to take care of them like we want to take care of our team members. And so everyone who's in the club has a chance to win a monthly giveaway. There's no obligation. We give away multiple prizes every month. They're on a first-come, first-served basis. And when they start sending us referrals, we start giving them higher-level perks. And I'll go into that a little bit more here as we move through the slides. But the cool thing about it is that it creates more of an opportunity for me to engage with them. I just recorded a video for our giveaway yesterday, and it was really weird because this month we're not doing an in-person giveaway. They always come into the office to get their gift, and it gives me an opportunity to spend 15, 20 minutes with them to find out what's going on in a very personal environment. And they just feel this subconscious pull to want to send you additional opportunities. You know, so many times they come in and pick up a gift and they're like, oh, you know what? I was talking to my friend Jan and they're looking to buy a house and I gave them your name and you should be expecting a call. And I'm like, well, thank you very much. That was very kind of you. They just feel the subconscious pull that they want to do business because you just established that you're a really great guy. We can go on to the next slide.
So on this slide, Mike, I was looking at the slide. It says how many reward programs you a member of. The answer is I have a spreadsheet that keeps track of all my usernames and logins for all these membership programs that I have. And like seriously, like every hotel chain, every different airline, different food places. And we literally have, it's anyone that I am a loyal customer of, I'm part of their rewards program because I want to take advantage of their things because I like frequenting those establishments or places. So the number's a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, a free airline ticket or a free night stay at the Hyatt is a nice thing, and you're not doing anything different than just using your card and using your program. And it's the same thing here. You know, people are looking to buy and sell real estate every day, and it's not just that they're doing it for the perks. It's that we have an amazing team that's going to take care of them through every step of the transaction. And why not have an amazing experience versus working with the agent who might be dropping the ball? So it's really created a great opportunity for everybody involved. We can go on to the next slide. Diving in and talking, you can hit next one more time, Verl. There's 3 different levels of our club. The first one here, as you see, is the MVP program. The MVP is they receive a newsletter from us once a month, and in the newsletter we have a giveaway. And the giveaway is always on a first-come, first-served basis. And when they do send us business, we then move them to an all-star. And the all-star are people who are those who've sent us at least one referral that we've had the opportunity to meet with. So that's the trigger. It's not when they do business with us. We reward them for the referral. It's not based off of a transaction. And so when they refer somebody to us, we then send them a company-branded Starbucks card, and we load $20 onto it. And then every month, we load an additional $10 onto that so that they have a reward coming every month for 6 months. Now, the important part of not taking the lazy route and just loading $60 on it is that because we're loading $10 on it every month, we get to have another touch. You know, the whole program is designed to get us in contact and be in touch with those people who are important to us. And so we'll reward it for $10 every month, and then if they send us another referral during that 6 months, we just extend it. So the benefit could be indefinite for them. Once they've sent us at least 3 referrals, then we move them to what's called our Hall of Fame. Now, the Hall of Fame, they get all the same benefits as the MVP and the All-Stars. They get the monthly giveaways, they get the Starbucks, but we do exclusive events and parties for our MVP. Here, there's some pictures where we had privately chartered a yacht on one of our local lakes, and we took everybody out for a sunset dinner cruise with cocktails. We could do other parties, sporting events, just something to make them feel extra special because they're a Hall of Famer. So talking about how to, so the impact of the coronavirus, it's definitely had an impact on us. People are working from home now. It's much easier to connect with them. We've also seen the time of day in which we connect with people being a little bit different. The mornings, if they have kids, they're probably doing some homeschooling. And so when 8 to 10 used to be a good time to call, or 4 to 6 used to be a good time to call, even that schedule is being disrupted right now. So we're actually testing out calling during different times to monitor if maybe calling from 11 to noon or 1:30 to 3:30 is a better time when the kids are occupied or the husband is working somewhere else in the house. But they love to hear from us. One of the things that we've talked about as a coaching group is that we're calling to check on their well-being. We're not making sales calls. We're making service calls, and that's exactly what these calls are. And people love to hear from us. They love to know that we're concerned about them and that we're staying healthy too. Utilizing a slide broadcast as a voice message is a nice way to go when you have a lot of people. We have about 150 people in our club right now. We have about another 140 that we intimately know that we're working on getting into the club and then expanding. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But when you have that volume of people, sometimes it's just a little slide broadcast where it bypasses the phone and goes right to the voice message. Just, hey, it's Mike. I just want to call and see how you and the family are doing during these times. Give me a call when you have a few minutes. And getting them to re-engage with you. We're definitely starting to ratchet up the engagement with our Facebook group. We have a private MVP Facebook group that people are in. We're starting to ratchet that up, do a weekly video, even if it's just my wife and I going out for a walk, just throwing the selfie stick out there and recording a video and talking about what's happening in our lives. These are people who already know, love, and trust you, and they want to hear what's going on in your life. We used to send out our monthly newsletters with just a picture and some write-up of what our giveaway was, and then we'd have some other things in there like some new listings. We'd have one piece of relevant content in there. It might be about spring cleanup, or right now it's about COVID-19. What we did this last month is we went to video, and I just recorded a personalized video to get more personal with it and have a deeper level of engagement. And then also this month, small businesses out there are struggling. It's not just real estate companies. It's your restaurants, it's your small stores, the bars, the hardware store that might have had to shut down. So it's impacting everybody. And so instead of having things like echoes or fishing equipment or whatever our giveaways were, we decided to dive into our community and make our giveaway this month all about gift cards to local businesses. So we could get more cash in the hands of those business owners, and it's also community driven, and people have been responding really well to that. And we're going to leverage Zoom. We're working right now on setting up a virtual, we were going to do just a virtual happy hour, but then we decided we're going to turn it into a game night. And we're not quite sure what game we're going to play yet, but we're going to invite everybody from the club into a virtual game night and maybe play something like bingo and have some prizes, give away some swag for that. Just a chance to bring everybody together during definitely a different time.
Love that. So just a couple of thoughts and questions from the group real quick. One of our guests asked the question, what do you use for your video? Are you shooting video on your Zoom? Or are you using your phone? Do you send bomb videos? What are some of the tools you're using there from a technology perspective?
You can use all of the above, Earl, but my response would be use whatever you have. Don't let the fact that you don't have the right equipment be the hurdle or the impediment. Just use what you have. I mean, you can use You can use your phone. I have a webcam right now that's on top of my computer monitor, and that's all I use. You know, it was a $50 webcam that I bought from Amazon. It sits right on top of my computer monitor, and I just use that with Zoom.
Yeah, that's what I do
BombBomb's,
too.
you know, definitely a great tool too, but you know, you can upload your video to YouTube and share that, so you don't need to go out there and spend money. Just use what you have and start interacting with your audience.
Catherine asked you if you were concerned about the rules of spending less than $50 a year on client gifts in a year. Do you have
So definitely talk to your RESPA attorney, but you know, in our conversations with our attorneys, I'm not concerned about it because we're not tying it to a transaction. We have the ability in Wisconsin to incentivize buyers and sellers, whether it be a home warranty, it could be a credit, it could be paying for the appraisal. We have certain things that we can do in our state that others might not be able to do anywhere else. But from what I understand, even at a federal level, we're not tying it to the transaction. It's not going to a service provider who is on our settlement statement. This is directly in response to a referral, not a sale.
Love that.
But that's not legal advice. Please check with your attorney.
That's right. I love the disclosure on that. Hey, real quick. The other thing is because it's branded, it's advertising, and you can advertise. So there's a lot of thoughts on that. Hey, what are you doing for virtual game night? What are you going to play?
We're thinking we're going to do bingo. You know, we had to have something. We don't know what the attendance is going to be. We don't know if there'll be 10 people, if there'll be 50 people. And with the platform, it gets really difficult because only one person can be talking at a time. And we thought, gosh, if we bring everybody into a room and we have 50 people who want to talk, that could just be chaos. So we're looking at like bingo, and that would allow us to have everybody kind of participating, have winners, move the games along quickly, and then we're just going to give out some swag, you know, some branded apparel, some koozies. You know, we'll find some $10 to $25, $30 items that we can give away.
Hey, send me an invite. I'm in on virtual bingo night.
All right, sounds great. We'll definitely include you, Verl.
So let's talk about who gets in the club. Is that, do you give it to all your clients? Is it how do they do the tiers? Give me some insight.
Yeah, so who gets in the club is really going to depend upon what you as the organizer want to include. We started off with our top 50, our sphere of influence. Then we added our past clients. As a team leader, there's a lot of business that's conducted within our business that is generated by our other agents. And what we've recently decided is that we're going to bring in all of the past clients of all the other agents, because at the end of the day, they're doing business with our team, and we want to reward them too. And it's a way for our agents to keep our team top of mind. And even though they're going to be in our club, and I'm going to be personally sponsoring these rewards, they're still the client of our other team member. And so we're going to open that up, and you know, within the next couple of months, we may end up having 500-600 people in our club as we start opening up. Now, it's important that, you know, we all tried to provide exceptional experiences, but there's going to be that very small percent where no matter what we did, we just can't make them happy. And those are the only people that we really don't want to have in our club, because we're going to be doing events, we're going to be getting people together. We want to have fun. We want it to be all about your raving fans. And so that's who's in our club. Once we start setting it up, it's very important to stay extremely organized. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the spreadsheets that we've created, but you definitely have to set a schedule for your giveaways. The first Tuesday of every month is when we do our giveaway, and it's amazing. I swear that all day long, people are sitting by their email waiting for it, because we'll get 15, 20 people that will respond to the email within a matter of a couple minutes. And what we've done is we've actually started rotating the time of the day that we send it out, because if we always sent it out at 10 in the morning and somebody's at work and can't check their personal email, by the time they respond at 5 o'clock that night, it's too late. So we'll actually rotate the time of the day that we send them out. We always reload our Starbucks gift cards on the third Tuesday of every month. So, you know, we got to get into a little bit of a structure and have a schedule. And it's also important to think about how you're going to communicate with the club. We utilize Constant Contact, and we just update that contact list within it for our weekly distribution. We'll communicate with them through our closed Facebook group, as well as phone calls and personalized letters. Let me move that chat box.
I know.
Somebody's asking.
Lots of good engagement. I encourage everybody to continue to ask their questions. We'll find natural places to break and answer questions using your chat box or the questions. We'll do the best we can during natural breaks. But I want to make sure Mike gets all the information he wants to share with you all today. And Mike, I love your mug.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to the Workman family for that mug.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, I think there's probably going to be a lot of requests flooding your inbox for Workman tumblers, Earl. So
okay.
Tracking's really, really important with this. We can go to the next slide, Earl. Tracking's really important, and I just want to give you a little bit of sample of what we set up within our Google spreadsheets. The first page of this tracker right here is a comprehensive list of all of our club members, which level they're in, and all their contact info. And you know, they can move through those levels. Everybody starts off as an MVP, but then when they send you a referral, they go to All-Star and then Hall of Fame. It's really important to track that because we do different things for different levels of our club, as I mentioned earlier. We did a bonfire picnic back in October, and we invited all of our members there. We actually had 72 to 75 of them show up, which was really impressive considering it was, you know, a weeknight in the fall, and we catered in some food. We had bag toss there. We had a big bonfire going on, and it was a lot of fun. But when we do those types of events, we'll actually put on their name tag the logo for the level of where they're at within the club. So members are walking around seeing All-Stars and Hall of Famers, and well, how do I become a Hall of Famer? So
I love it.
We make that known.
Yeah, I want to be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, you got to send me more business. You can't be
You're not average.
You can't be a mediocre raving fan. You got to be all in.
Absolutely. The second page shows us all the Starbucks card numbers and the reloads, when reload it, when their reloads end. If they've sent us another piece of business, then we just extend it out for 6 months. But the way that works is when we send them out a card, we just log that card into our spreadsheet, and then once a month, our executive assistant goes in there and then funds that card. So we know which card is assigned to what person, and then we'll send an email out to everybody who just had their card reloaded, thanking them again for their business and letting them know that we just added an extra $10 to their Starbucks card. The next page tracks all of our gifts and the events that the members have either received or attended, and the list is actually automatically populated for the name and club level from our first page. So our assistant did an amazing job of tying these in together, and so that one auto-populates and just creates less work on her. And I'll tell you that before we go on, that this is not something that you start and stop. If you guys are interested in doing this, once you get started, make sure you have the funding to keep going. Make sure you have the time to keep going, because if you start, your integrity is going to be questioned if all of a sudden you miss a month. Now, we'll do certain things, like in November, we always do Pi Day. Well, we didn't do a giveaway in that month. Our giveaway was the Pi Day. But once you start, keep it going, and you're probably going to need some help. I couldn't imagine running this club by myself. All the back-end work is taken care of by our executive assistant, and that way it just allows me to spend my time with the people. You know, I'm not great at spreadsheets. I'm not great at email blasts. She is, but I'm a great communicator, and I love to socialize. So make sure that you have some help, because it is extremely labor-intensive. A couple other things that we set up that I don't have slides for.
Yeah, I don't mean to jump out, but like everything in your business, you know, the reason that our teams are so successful and the reason your team does so much and is able to get this done is because you've put together a staff that can focus on the execution of the great ideas that you have. You know, we can have all the great ideas, but if we don't have a staff to execute it, then it just is another thing that we don't do. So I love that you give your praise to your assistant for being exceptional.
Yeah, absolutely. She definitely is. A couple things I didn't share within the slide deck that also systematize it is that we have a referral form set up. So in the emails that go out, or if they have a question or they want to refer somebody, we just have a referral form that's basically a Google form that they can fill out to send us in a referral. And then whenever we put somebody into the club or move them up, I just have saved in my toolbar that Google form. And I literally go into that Google form. I put the name, phone number, email address, their birthday, any other pertinent information. I just fill out the form, and as soon as I hit submit, that populates our spreadsheet, and it also sends a notification to my assistant so that she can go ahead and do the things that she needs to do with the new member, like put them into constant contact, send them out a letter, welcome to the club, etc. And then there's also a variety of letters and gifts that we have for entry into the club or when they move up. If they move up from MVP to All-Star, we go ahead and we send them a letter letting them know that we send their Starbucks card. If they move up to Hall of Fame, we have some new tumblers that we just ordered, and we'll send a package out to them. We'll have some branded tumblers on them as well.
So do you have a budget? Do you have an annual budget for your program that you run?
We have... Yes and no. So we don't necessarily have the annual budget, but we do have a monthly budget. We usually try to keep our gifts between $25 and $50 per gift. Sometimes you're able to find things on sale so that it's actually a higher value item, but you get a discount on it. We try to have roughly, kind of the norm is about 6% of our club. So if we have 100 people in, we want to be giving out about 6 gifts each month. If you had 200, obviously double that up, but about 6%. And then for our events, those are really just dependent. You know, we did set a budget for our picnic and our bonfire. We did set a budget for our the yacht that we chartered. But right now we don't have an annual budget. It's more of a monthly or event specific.
So tell me how it's working.
It's working really well. We launched this program, as you can see, April 2nd, and you can just toggle through these slides here. We launched it April 2nd of last year. We currently have 152 members in it, but we're aggressively adding in past clients of our other team members, so we'll see that number rocket up pretty quickly. Just with the people in our MVP club, not adding the team members yet, in the last year we've had 34 referrals or repeat clients come from that. And I've had people say, well, how much of that business would you have already received anyways? And I would have said a third. I would say about 2/3 of the business that we received since we started it were directly tied to the MVP club, not because of the rewards, but because we've done a better job at staying top of mind for our friends and family and past clients. And so far we've spent just under $5,400 on all of our prizes, tumblers, and all of our events. Those referrals so far have led to almost $10 million in closed and pending transactions. The closed transaction GCI so far has been $132,000, and right now either active listings or transactions that are in pending status equal another $160,000. So when you look at our $5,400 spend and the $290,000 return, we're getting a pretty good return on our investment. Now, what's not in there is, you know, my hourly rate. My assistant, who puts in hours and hours and hours every month, her time and wages for doing that are not in there. Those are just the hard costs that we've tracked that have been directly related to the program.
And you can't put an hourly rate on priceless, Mike. You know, you can't put an hourly rate on that. It just is what it is. So what a phenomenal program. You know, we teach in coaching that you should get what kind of a return on your marketing dollar. What's the number we strive for?
We want to get a 5 to 6x return on it.
Right. So when you're finding something that's giving you a 54x return, it's a no-brainer. It's like, don't think about it. Start your program. It's something everybody should just execute on. Do you take people out of the club once they've stopped giving you referrals after a year? Have you demoted people or taken them out?
No, so we haven't, and we won't. You know, if they're in the club and they're an MVP level, they're getting a monthly email with a chance to win a prize, and the prizes are usually $25 to $50. So if they haven't sent us a piece of business in a year or two, we keep them in the club. We're just staying top of mind. Hopefully, when they talk to anybody who's looking at buying or selling, then they'll think of us. The only thing that we're looking at is the Hall of Fame level. When we started this, we just said this is how you qualify for Hall of Fame, but that's a more expensive tier because we're doing these parties and higher level events. And so we're looking at what do you need to do to maintain that status. And it'd probably be something along the lines, if we haven't received any referrals in 2 years, then we might look to move them down. But the All-Star, you have to send a referral in order to qualify for All-Star level. And to be an All-Star level, you are there for 6 months. And if you send another referral, then it extends your time for another 6 months.
So it's well written out and thought out. What kind of adaptations or changes you made to the program since you started it?
So one thing I didn't touch on that was really important is Workman Success introduced me to what's called the Agile. And Verl, do you want to spend a minute talking about what the Agile is so that the audience understands that?
You want to show it? You want to bring your screen up and show it?
I don't have that right now at my desktop. I wouldn't be able to show that Agile. But the Agile is basically an area where it's almost like a business plan. It's a tool that we use for all of our goals, our objectives, the projects that we want to work on. If we're going to hire somebody, if we're going to start utilizing a CRM, we put all these projects on a backlog. And then when we want to bring that project into motion, we create a sprint. And a sprint is going to be a detailed action plan of everything that we need to do in order to complete that project. The sprint was absolutely crucial in us building out our MVP program. There are so many moving pieces of getting labels for the Starbucks cards, writing the letters, what are our giveaways going to be. Even today, we're in that sprint every Friday for our MVP club of, okay, what do we need to do to move this now? And we're actually in it every day because it moves our business forward. But that's been really, really important. What I've learned from launching this program is it's important to have everything in place when you launch because it's going to move really fast. It's important to have all your trackers in place because you're not going to be able to keep up with the data by just having it top of mind. You have to have the spreadsheets there so you can track it, and you're going to need help. Otherwise, it's going to become a pretty labor-intensive, at least part-time job.
So I threw up on the screen, one of our clients who's given me permission to share their Agile. And this is, do you see it on your screen, Mike?
Yes, I do. I recognize the name too. She's got an amazing Agile.
Yep. And so this is an Agile where all the projects go on the backlog. And she actually she started a sprint from your MVP from when you shared it, but she hasn't got a lot of details on it, but she's got one ready to go. So she's just getting ready to start her MVP sprint. So you can see, schedule a team training call with Mike is first thing on her sprint. I thought that's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to talk to her team about that. It's been a lot of fun. One of our core values is to have fun, and this has been a lot of fun. My executive assistant will tell you it's a lot of work, but we've had a lot of fun, and I know the people that are in the club, we routinely hear, you guys are more than just a real estate company. We really appreciate what you do for the people and for the community, and this is a way to engage with them and give back.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. As we're taking questions and people are, asking things, one of the questions that came up is, do you refill the Hall of Famers Starbucks cards, or do they just get the, better parties?
No, so the Hall of Famers, they get all the perks of the MVP and the All-Star level. So if a Hall of Famer sends us another referral, then absolutely we reload their Starbucks gift card, and then we'll load it every month for 6 months.
A lot of comments on how well designed your system is. I love everybody's excited about that. I want to share where people can download today a copy of today's presentation and some of the resources that Mike's made available. So the Top 50 Tracker, the 8651 ebook, and of course a free coronavirus consultation. But go to workmansuccess.com/client MVP to get all the information that we shared with you today, and download it here. So this is where you want to pick that up. So there's a lot of really cool stuff here. Because we have a few minutes, Mike, I'm going to open up the call to any questions that people have. But I'd also like to just ask you a few questions about your coaching experience. I know who your coach is. So when you were asked the question, do you have a budget for that? I expected you to have an answer for that. So tell me what you're doing different in your business today than you were, say, 4 years ago before you joined Workman. What is different?
Well, one, our team has grown in size, and it's not just a matter of our production, but it's everything that we're doing as a team. I didn't have an MVP program 3 years ago, and it's a lot of work. So we need to hire somebody to do that. We need to hire somebody to take care of the growth and transaction volume. Because we carry more listings, we needed more buyer agents, and I had to hire more support for them. So that's all a lot different. The systems that we have in place now are absolutely amazing, and they're workman driven. From our lead tracker to using the Agile to our transaction tracker, at any given time, myself or my coach can jump in and see exactly what's going on in our business. Every 2 weeks, I talk with my coach, and we start off talking about business numbers, what's happened over the last 2 weeks. I didn't know that before I got into Workman. You know, what happened over the last month? Well, I can look in the MLS. Well, that doesn't give us a very good picture, and I think a lot of times none of us respond to the trends or the cycles that we're in fast enough. It's always like, oh gosh, I don't have any transactions on the books, I better get going. But when you're looking at your key business numbers every 2 weeks, you get a sense of what's going on, and you can adapt a lot quicker. The training process, the hiring process, the onboarding process. We've had so many people that have come into our team that say that they've been elsewhere and never had the training that they had when they came into our team. Well, that's all being driven by Workman. The support, I think of the support that I'm getting from my coach as well as the Workman family during COVID-19. None of us have ever dealt with this. Some of us have been through other pandemics. Some of us have been through other market crashes, but never anything COVID-19. And the peace of mind that I get of talking to other coaches around the country and then trickling that information down to my coaching clients, I can't put a price on that either. I mean, what we're going through right now, what I pay to my coach, hopefully he's not listening to this because it's not enough. I mean, the value that he brings to me is so much more than the monthly expense that I have. So please don't let him know that, Verl. He'll be looking for his handout on the next call.
Actually, he's kind of a giver, so he coaches you for free. You know, Jim's the personality type that just wants to make a difference. What have you seen from a growth perspective from the time you started to today?
If we were to look at our transaction count, our transactions in the last 4 years have more than quadrupled. Our team has a little bit more than tripled in size. You know, for us, it's not all about the transactions that we have. When I look at my team and I look at my agents, you know, my concern is, are they reaching their goals? And so it's not, did we sell 300 units as a team this year? It's, did every one of my agents on their team, were they happy? Were they satisfied? And so we put a lot of time and effort back into them, whether it's weekly coaching, if it's huddles, if it's business planning, if it's providing them with the resources. So we've seen some very substantial growth during that time, and I couldn't have done it without Workman success. Absolutely not.
You know, I appreciate you saying the kind words, and it's really not as much about us as it is about the work that you've put in. You know, we have clients that don't execute, and when you don't execute, you don't get a result. So you've done a good job of actually putting things into place and then improving them like you've done with the MVP program. So it says a lot about you and your wife and your team and the efforts you put in there. Deborah wanted to know if you didn't want to do a branded, you know, a Mike Coke branded real Starbucks card. If you wanted to use a local coffee house, could you do stickers or brand it differently? Is there another option?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just go to the Starbucks store and pick up gift cards off their counter, and we have them load the first $5 on it because I think they have to load it. We bring those back, and then we have a vinyl sticker that we put on it that has the logo on it, and then it lets them know to, if they send us a referral, we'll reload it. But you could definitely use your local shop, but we have members that are all over the state and actually in other states too. And they might live in Chicago or they might live in Dubuque, Iowa, and that local coffee shop won't be there, but they might know somebody in our marketplace who's looking to buy or sell, or they might know somebody in their marketplace who wants to buy and sell, and I can refer them out to an affiliate in that marketplace. So we do like using the national brand, but you could certainly use whatever works for you.
Yeah, I really like that. Jose asked a question, Mike. He wanted to know if the referrals needed to become a transaction for you to send them a thank you or a Starbucks gift card, or do you send it out for any referral?
No, so we talked about that a little bit earlier in the call. If you are going to tie the referral or the reward to something that's transactionally related, that's when you're going to run into some problems. And so it has nothing to do with the sale, it has to do with the referral. To me, a referral counts for a reward when I have the chance to meet with them. If you just give me their name and number and I don't ever have a chance to talk with them, then that doesn't qualify for the referral. I either have to have a listing appointment with them or a buyer consultation. I have to at least meet with them.
That's a huge differentiator. So it's a referral that you get to meet with. I think that it's really important that you clarify that, because when you teach your clients how to give you referrals, you need to let them know that all you have to do is send me a referral that I actually get a chance to meet with. And it changes the dialogue and sets the right expectations. That's a really important point. Thank you, Jose, for asking that question.
Yeah, I see Deb had asked a question too about how do we give away the gift. So every first Tuesday of the month we send out an e-newsletter, and that e-newsletter will be the announcement of the gift. And people have to reply back to that so that it's a date and time stamped. I got a friend, Mark Ryan, who's running this program down in Ohio, and they've actually created a Google form. So people have to click on the link, and then they claim their prize by clicking on the link and putting their name in there, and then that populates their Google spreadsheet. So that's date and time stamped too. So it's just, you can do it however you want. You just have to make sure that it's organized and date and time stamped so you know who the lucky winners are, because it is first come, first serve.
Yeah, Mark's on the call. He actually gave a comment that said that he buys his Starbucks cards in 3-packs at Costco and saves a little bit of money, and then puts his stickers on them. So another workman coach and someone who's running the program. So one of the things you'll notice when you become part of our family is everybody shares with everybody, and we all copy greatness. Success leaves clues, and our goal is to find people doing it better than others, and then we share with each other and try and help each other grow and be successful. I think that's part of the fun culture that we have.
Absolutely.
Mike, as we get wrapped up and we wrap up into the call, is there any suggestions, and I know this is off topic just a little bit, but do you have any suggestions that you would like to give to people on what they should be doing right now to take advantage of the stimulus programs, either for their agents or as business owners and their teams? I know you've done a tremendous amount of research and putting it together, and I'd love to give everybody just a couple of things that they should focus on right now to make sure they're taking advantage of all the stimulus that's being offered to independent contractors and small businesses.
Yeah, so I'll give you some ideas of what's out there, but then you need to talk to your tax attorney or your accountant and ask them what you may or may not qualify, and even create a strategy around how you can leverage the stimulus money. The stimulus money is out there for us to not only survive this time, but also to put money back into the system, right? I mean, people are not out driving right now. They're not out buying things right now. The economy is hurting because we're not putting all that money back into it. And the stimulus money is not only out there to keep you able to pay your bills, but to put money back into the economy so that we can bounce back out of this as quickly as possible. First, unemployment now allows independent contractors to qualify. It used to have to be W-2 employees. As an independent contractor, you can file for unemployment. The federal government is kicking an extra $600 for that. So if you qualify at the state level, then you automatically will receive a supplement check of an extra $600 per week for, I believe it's up to 13 weeks. There's also small business administration loans out there, and there's two different programs. One's called the economic EIDL, is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And you can apply for the loan through the SBA. And the loan will be basically determined by your need. They'll look at a few different numbers. You can fill that form out on sba.gov/disaster, and it only takes you like 10 minutes to fill that out. But if you're using some of those monies for things like payroll or rent or mortgage that's tied to your business, then they will forgive up to $10,000 of that loan. If you have a larger loan than that, then you can pay that back over a 30-year amortization at 3.75% interest rate. The other thing that they have out there for team leaders, business owners, and even independent contractors is called Payroll Protection Plan, and that allows you to look back at your last 12 months or at 2019, establish what your annual salary was, divide that by 12 to figure out what your monthly salary is, and then you can apply for a loan up to 2.5 times your wages there. So again, that's a loan, and if it's used in the right way for the right things as the SBA sets, then that may be forgiven as well, but there's very strict criteria because it's not a given that it's going to be reduced. There's also different programs out there. If you already have an SBA loan, you may qualify for 6 months of forgiveness on that. that there's a lot of different programs out there. Even the Family Medical Leave Act has been adjusted for coronavirus. So if you haven't looked into it yet, just do a little bit of research, talk to your accountant, and take advantage of whatever is out there that's available to you.
Yeah, there's so many resources, and I think, as recent as today, I was on a coaching call with a team leader who hasn't gone through the process of, applying for the Payroll Protection Act and reimbursing her for keeping her people employed. She just figured she had to eat it, even though they weren't doing the number of transactions they were doing, and so she's quickly going to get that taken care of. And I think we owe it to our clients and to the industry to communicate what's going on. As an independent contractor, you can't actually apply till the 10th, but that means that today and tomorrow you should be getting all your ducks in a row so that you go to the application site and have everything you need to be able to submit the way that they're asking for the documentation. So just really good information. Julie Timms had a question for you, Mike, and I'll just ask this this will be our final question, is that she would like to know if you wouldn't mind explaining how you reward the card. Who do you pick? So who do you pick each month and how you put money on their card?
Oh, that's a given. It's an automatic, Julie. So if Julie sends me a referral that I have the chance to meet with, and she hasn't received a card in the past, then we mail her a thank you letter along with our branded card. It's preloaded with $20, and then we add another $10 onto it every month for 6 months. If you send us another referral during that 6 months, then we just extend your benefit by another 6 months. So we don't pick who gets it and who doesn't. It's just a flat out, if you send us a referral, you're going to get the rewards for 6 months.
Love that. Well, Mike, what an incredible amount of information. I love everything that you shared. Thanks for being such a giver and sharing so much information, not only about the MVP program, but about your journey with Workman, and of course, some of the things that people could be doing to take advantage of stimulus that's out there. Mike is going to be a guest on our broker owner webinar tomorrow. I think we're gonna sell out our webinar capacity. I think we have over 800 people registered already, so I believe it's going to fill up. But if you're a broker owner and would like to participate in that, go to workmansuccess.com and you can see all of our events and register for that. So, Mike, thank you for being such an amazing individual and for sharing. And you're truly one of our MVPs. Everybody, on behalf of Workman Success and Mike Koch, thanks for joining us today. Stay safe out there, and remember, real estate is still happening. If it's not happening for you, change the things you focus on. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye now. I'm okay. He's on with the